have the body of a weak and feeble woman. But I have the heart and stomach of a king. And of a king of England too! And think foul scorn.
Quite the speech. A rallying cry. Some will say it marks the beginning of nationalism. The first faltering steps towards empire. A great victory over the superpower that was Spain. Great speech. Except, of course, it never happened. It could have happened. They said it happened, so we all believed it happened. Myths become legends. Now, don't get me wrong. The essence of the speech, there was a grain of truth. Little England was up against it. A great fleet was bearing down upon us, threatening death and destruction. Worse than that, the wrath of God. And here, in Southampton, well, we were on the front line. They would take the Isle of Wight, bring over a mighty army from the Netherlands, a hop, skip and jump. What was to be done? How were we to defend ourselves? Now, what you're about to hear is all based on historical fact. The people are all real people. But this is not a history lesson.
My kingdom and of my people!
We're going to get to that in the meeting. It's quite a lot to unpick.
Oh, there you are. Wine, if you please.
Andrew Soodley, Mayor of Southampton, is also a crook stealing money from the town. He'll be thrown out of the Merchants Guild for fraud.
Spanish.
Richard Goddard, wealthy merchant. Most of his trade is with Spain, but that doesn't stop him funding privateering ventures against Spanish ships. Richard Waterton, long-term town clerk. His wife is a loose woman. She has affairs, and some say she has the French pox.
So, yes, the messenger's arrived. Her Majesty's government requests that we provide 2 ships of a minimum of 60 tons and a pinnace within 2 months.
2 ships? Can't be done. The town can't afford 2 ships.
I imagine being a port, they think we've got a few ships to spare.
All this talk of war has damaged trade. I trade with Spain.
Well, we all trade with Spain.
We need to make a response.
Yes, we need to let them know how poor the town is.
You know, I think the Lord Admiral's behind this letter. He's got it in for the town, you know. Doesn't like our sidelining privateering. Always angling for a bigger share.
I suppose it didn't help that we seized wine and gold off a ship that the Lord Admiral and Queen's cousin had an interest in.
No, he threatened to throw the mayor in jail.
Yes, well, I think we're getting away from the point here, which is, what are we going to do about this letter?
Yes, we need to reply. Bring more paper and ink.
This is not going to end well. Here you are, Mr. Mayor.
Give it to the town clerk.
Thank you. Yeah, let's get this drafted.
So, from the Mayor and Alderman of Southampton to the Queen's Council.
Yeah.
May it please your good lordships.
Good. Always start with a bit of flattery.
Yes.
So we'll need to reference the letter, the request for ships and pinnace.
Got that, yes.
Yeah. What about we did according to our duties and abundance of our zeal?
Oh, that's very good. And desire to do Her Majesty faithful service. Yeah.
So we need to say that we have to consider the cost.
Yes, of course, that of the charge as to how the same might be levied among so poor and insufficient a number of inhabitants.
Yes. We should estimate the cost at £500.
Sounds right, yes.
We should say that the situation was made worse because of the embargo that the council put on trade with Spain.
Yes.
I mean, it's been, what, 16 years now?
But we're still trading with Spain.
Yes, well, they don't know that.
Well, we certainly need to say that the embargo has meant that our craftsmen have been unable to maintain their skills.
Yeah, and we should say that although we can't afford £500, we have managed to gather 120?
With great difficulty.
With great difficulty.
Yeah, and don't forget we had to send powder and shot. Well, that must be worth 250?
Yes.
And what about the money we had to outlay to repair the town's defences?
Well, exactly.
It's a Spanish land, we need to be able to defend ourselves.
Of course.
Yes.
And we could add that the council have wrongly suggested that we have benefited from the goods we privateered, when in fact we have lost at least 2,000...
3,000?
£4,000, yes.
Yes.
And at least 110 of our mariners have been pressed into Her Majesty's service.
Yes, of course.
Well, I mean, exactly. I mean, even if we had the ships, we haven't got the sailors.
True.
We should finish by saying that we will pray for Her Majesty and her council.
Daily. We will pray daily.
Her Majesty!
Her Majesty! God save the Queen.
I'm sure Her Majesty will rest easy, knowing she is protected by their prayers. The privateering they speak of has sustained the town for the past 20 years. Of course, attacking Spanish ships might have contributed to the King of Spain deciding to invade England. Lawrence Prowse came down from London to make money as a privateer. The other lad is local, Black Ralph. Gentlemen, good to see you, and thank you for using my warehouse. Will you be moving the goods along soon? I'm expecting Walter Raleigh shortly. He's just come into port with 3 ships he has taken.
Trust Raleigh. Such a show-off.
Sugar, ginger, and elephant tusks on board.
Black Ralph, not seen you for a while.
Had to lay low. Bit of trouble on the courts.
How so?
I took a ship. A single ship. With cargo making for Spain. And Spain is the name of England, is it not?
It is, along with the Portuguese.
The merchant who owned the ship, he was Dutch. Took umbrage. Came all the way back to Southampton to appeal for the return of his ship and cargo. Ungrateful wretch. I left him my old ship. No one was injured.
Well, I suppose we're not at war with Holland.
The Spanish do rule the Low Countries, and the Dutch are not like that much. And they are rebelling, but a fact is a fact. The country is part of the Spanish Empire. The goods were heading to Spain. Open and shut case.
But you made yourself scarce. You didn't attend the court.
I did not attend the courts, but you never guess what a weasel did. Gave out a description. Clean shaven, black skin.
Ah, so that's why you've grown the beard. I hardly recognised you. You know, no one's going to know it's you.
I think it suits me.
You've got to be so careful these days. The latest letters of reprisals I've had from the Queen. I can't attack the French. Have to steer well clear of the Hanseatic League.
Well, you go and avoid the list of England and England's enemies and her friends, and you come back and it's all changed. Now, I don't mind the Spanish, but how could we be allies with the French?
All is politics, my friend. All is politics.
The mayor is giving a banquet for Walter Raleigh. Have you gentlemen been invited?
It's all about celebrity. Just because he put his cloak down over a puddle so the Queen didn't dirty her stockings.
Is that a true story?
I heard it from a seller of pamphlets at Great Maurice.
Speaking of which, if you gentlemen will excuse me, there is a jug of ale with my name on it in the beer house.
Count Angle.
She made good friends, haven't she?
Everywhere.
It's true, I tell you. I heard it from one of my lodgers. London has been set ablaze, and the Queen of Scots is now upon the English throne.
But how can that be? The Queen of Scots, she lost her head up country somewhere. The warden of God's house, he was there, he witnessed it.
The warden of God's house, that's Francis Mill. Works for the Queen's spymaster, Francis Walsingham, who has sidelined down here, managing properties owned by Queen's College, Oxford.
Well, so you say, but who knows what's really true if you can't see it with your own eyes?
She must have lost her head. And that is why the King of Spain is sending a great fleet of ships against us.
I see no ships.
You may well laugh, but my husband was pushed into being pressed to be a mariner for one of the Queen's ships. We had to pay him 10 shillings to get him released. And I had to find someone to take his place.
Who would willingly take his place?
Clatterer did it. Wanted to get away from his wife, I think.
Don't you be so cheeky. I know his wife, stuck at home with the children. And if you can afford to pay the mayor 10 shillings, the next round's on you.
I haven't got a groat to spare after paying that out. Take pity on a poor old sailor's wife. What about you buying a drink, Davy Brock?
I have no money. I am in debt, thanks to her servant, who has not paid me what he owes me.
I said I would loan him the money, so why don't you take it, be done with it, and then you can buy us a drink?
And why would I take money from you? You are nothing but an old papist.
Steady on, Davy. Mrs. Sulin is a member of the French Church.
Oh, don't you believe that? She is an old papist, and the Queen is all too easy on papists. You mark my words, they will rise up when the Spanish get here, and you heard her, all gleeful that the Queen of Scots had taken the throne. Another papist.
No, I was not in the least bit gleeful. I was distraught.
We have established that good Queen Bess, good Protestant Queen Bess, is still safely sat on her throne.
For how much longer, with the Spanish already off the coast? You mark my words, her and all the papists will slaughter all the men, stick babies through with their pikes, and they are bringing common women what all have the pox to infect good honest Englishmen.
I thought you said all the men were being slaughtered.
You take back those scurrilous remarks, you knave.
Knave, is it? Well, I tell you, I hope that the time would come that when the Queen were dead, I would come and help burn you out of your house as an old papist.
Davy Brock, you know that it's treason to imagine the death of the Queen.
I did not. I merely meant that should it come to pass, the Queen is but human after all, like you or I.
Now let's calm down. Calm down. Drunken rudeness is all. Davy, you apologise to Mrs. Sulin, and we'll all finish our cups and go home. Sleep it off.
This is where I slope off before things turn nasty. Well, everyone carries a knife, and there has been a lot of drinking.
Well, what news? What are the secrets on the streets of Southampton? Any news of smuggled priests?
Not a Jesuit to be seen, Master Mill.
Then please do not come here and waste my time when you have no intelligence. I have to return to London imminently. The Spanish fleet having sailed, we must be extra vigilant. You served me well in the Babington plot. We foiled that one, but there will always be others.
The Tichbornes were misled.
That was treason! Pure and simple. Chidiock Tichborne got exactly what he deserved.
Local boy, hung, drawn, and quartered. As did the Queen of Scots, lost her head.
I do not like your tone. Now, have you any news? Or not?
Nothing worth speaking of.
Really? That's not what this letter says.
A letter?
It is anonymous, of course, but it speaks of atheists and Catholics being promoted to high office.
I see no evidence of that.
Oh, it goes on. The town rails at preachers and instead maintains popish priests. Wicked and slanderous libels. And so it continues. Now, who wrote it?
If I was forced to make a suggestion...
Force can indeed be brought to bear.
The cleric at Holyrood is a puritanical preacher.
Puritans are not as bad as Catholics. That's a close thing. Now, I ask you again, what secrets have you heard?
Just a loose-tongued drunkard.
Loose tongues cost lives.
I need to be loosed right out of their mouths. Sorry, Mr. Mill, it's been a long day. One Davy Brock spoke about the death of the Queen.
An assassination? A treasonous plot? Come on, man! You must tell me. Is the Queen's life in danger?
No, Mr. Mill. The man was merely pondering what might happen if the Queen did happen to die. Of natural causes, of course.
We must make examples. Warn people what will happen to them if they even dare think treasonous thoughts. You will bring this man to me. Here is your piece of silver.
Yes, I spy on my neighbours. It is to be expected and can be dangerous, so why should I not accept a reward? Don't look at me like that. You might think you would take the high moral ground, but in a time of fear, of threat, of treason, I think you would do the same.
The town is full of sickness and plague.
I am aware. I beg you, keep your distance. My man here is already helping move the dead.
Well, in that case, I shall definitely keep my distance.
Do you think this is God's punishment?
Punishment for what?
Well, for not giving support to the Queen, not sending ships.
We couldn't send ships. We all agreed it would be ruinous.
Yeah, well, a messenger came this morning from the Cornish. They had news of the Spanish fleet. My man here will take it on to London.
Anyway, we sent them powder and shot.
Yes, but is it enough?
We paid for swords, scabbards, daggers.
Well, I'm going to provide a ship.
What?
My ship, the Angel. Lawrence Prowse, come. Lawrence Prowse here has already agreed to be her master.
Master Prowse.
Yeah. But the town will pay to victual her.
If you insist.
I do.
All right, and how do you feel about captaining the Angel, Prowse?
Oh, I've sailed the ship before. I took her down to Spain, in fact.
Privateering, was it?
No, not on that occasion, no. Trading voyage. Oranges and lemons.
I do like a nice orange. And marmalade. I suppose we should be seeing them again soon.
I think we're getting off the point.
Gentlemen, for all that the Angel is a good ship, I fear that we are just an armed merchantman. A ship needs to be a fighting unit. We need...
Is that Francis Drake talking?
Admiral Drake is correct. A ship needs to be armed with at least 30 pieces of heavy artillery, ammunition, men, shot, 100 men at least.
Admiral Drake? Don't make anyone an admiral these days. The Angel will be well armed. The town has plenty of guns, as do most of the merchants, and the men are good sailors.
I agree with you completely, it's true.
What's that book you're carrying there?
Oh, all the captains have been issued with it. It's called The Wagoneer. It's a book of charts produced by a Dutchman some years ago. It's only just recently been transferred into English.
Is it, any good?
Well, from what I know of the coastline and waters around the channel, it seems to be. I just hope the Spanish don't have a copy. We've also been issued with another book as well. Fox's Book of Martyrs.
How will that help you to fight better?
Well, I'm to read the death of a martyr every morning to encourage the men to fight against the Spanish.
A message, sirs. Sir Henry Norris and his brother are on their way here.
Military commanders? This battle will be won or lost at sea, gentlemen.
Yes. Studley here will sort out provisions needed, and Prowse, you need to get a crew together, and my man will go along and keep a watch for my affairs, and he is a good shot.
But not a good sailor, Mr. Goddard. I throw up just going across to Hythe.
Don't worry, lad. You'll soon get your sea legs.
We do still have some work to do. We've reinforced the town walls, but I don't think
And once
we've got
again,
enough
it's
guns
the ordinary man who has to go and fight, and hopefully not die for his country.
The guns have not been well maintained these last few years. Thomas of the Beard, that's our biggest gun. But it is old-fashioned.
At least it's a gun. When I went to the muster, most of the arms there were just bills. Basically just a pointy stick. Some fellows are still using bows and arrows.
Your master has muskets.
They're not very accurate.
You need culverins. They've got heavier casings than the old-fashioned guns. Helps counteract any flaws in the casting process. Helps cut down on the explosions too.
Less likely to mow down a gun crew. Anyway, I have got an extra gun for you. It's been brought off a Marigold. It's outside.
Well, you'll need to get it hauled up onto the roof of the tower. At least then if the Spanish do make their way down to Southampton water, at least we can give them a good show of pushing them off again.
I'd love to help, but my back is playing up.
Don't worry. Help is on its way. Oh, my love! How goes things?
I've been collecting all the piss I can for you to make more wretched gunpowder, and I have a cartload of dung. I have collected from hen houses, pigsties, sheep pens, stables, and public toilets. Not to mention scraping all the pigeon droppings from the pigeon loft.
Don't blame me, blame the Lord Admiral. Gunpowder, they want more gunpowder, they keep demanding it.
I've also dug your trench and added the quicklime and straw.
Thank you, my love. And if you wouldn't mind going back and just adding the piss and dung, and don't forget, we've got to do it every day for the next 3 weeks.
Let's hope the Spanish don't arrive before that.
Well, they'll have me to deal with when they get there. Look at the mess I'm in. Have a sniff. Go on. I stink. They wouldn't let me in church on Sunday. It's all right for you. You get a new livery uniform each year. You don't have to ruin your own clothes.
How about, my darling, when I get paid, I will buy you 2 new sleeves for your gown. Now, why don't you go off and give yourself a good douse in the moat, because... Oh, you're right. You are the love of my life, but... Oh, you do whiff a bit. But do hurry back. We've still got the gun stones to make.
I've brought the stones in and roughly hewn them. They just need finishing off.
Oh. And that's why I get paid for my skills. To polish the roundest stones that can take out a mast or the rigging of an enemy ship.
I can see they're putting shutters and wooden hoarding around the gun emplacements around the walls. There must be gunfires coming our way.
Yeah, it's not as though straw and wicker's going to stop the Spanish army, is it? Now, I must be off.
Off?
Oh, yes. I'm only a part-time gunner. My main job is a blacksmith. And I'm also responsible for the clock and chimes of St Michael's Church. Now that is a responsible job.
Will we be safe here? The French ones burnt the town, slaughtered good Christians in this very church.
But that was hundreds of years ago, before the walls were built. We're perfectly safe now.
They hate us because we are Protestants.
But we mustn't forget the Protestant cause. Do we want the Inquisition here?
No, they did terrible things in Holland.
Oh, it'll be much worse if they come here. All our men and boys will be slaughtered. The children will have their faces branded to show that they are the children of an occupied nation. A pamphlet was handed around in the alehouse. I saw the pictures.
Their ships are loaded with instruments of torture. The children will be tossed onto pikes or have their brains bashed out.
But didn't you see the men at muster? They were learning how to use the pikes and to fire guns.
My man has no skill, but he has said his job will be to lay waste to the fields, slaughter the animals.
Why would we destroy our own crops and kill all our animals? We will starve.
To stop the Spanish getting it and feeding their army. Better we all starve than one of those invaders having a mouthful. My husband is with Captain Prowse on the ship. I do hope he's not injured. Better if he dies than get injured.
How can you say such a thing?
Because if he's injured and cannot work, then that's another mouth to feed. And I will have to nurse him. And I will have to beg for alms. If he is killed outright, well, I can apply for a widow's license, tipping license, and then I can sell beer or whatnot.
Well, you have it all worked out, don't you?
You have to sort it out, because I have children to look after, and there is no pension for a poor sailor.
They put a chest in all the churches after, to collect arms for those injured fighting for their country. Called them Philip of Spain's chests. A little joke. Excuse me, ladies. Just had to say a quiet prayer for a safe voyage. safe return. I'll make the first stroke of the cross here by the door, and if I return, I'll come back to finish the cross.
"20 galleons, 4 galleasses, 44 armed merchantmen, 38 auxiliary and 21 supply ships, and they all just look like floating castles. All you can see is mile after mile of ships, and they're all being escorted by these galleasses, all painted scarlet and gold. And the crew, look, they're all protected behind decorated shields. And the oars red, and all the sails are burnished with the image of a bloody sword. Look, the crew are dressed in crimson, blue and mulberry.
Oh man, they're so dull in comparison. In their wool shirts, long breeches and woolen hats. Their jerkins, dyed brown and green, mostly brittled and cracked from the weather.
At least you're cutting a fine dash.
Well, you have to have standards.
And look at the English flagship, majestic with her pennants flying, and on the main mast, the royal standard of the Tudor roses flying.
The other English ships simply flew the cross of St. George. A dull bass thud means the ball has struck a hull. A rending crash. The upper works have been ripped right through. A whip crack means a severed stay. The sound, like a dry cough, means shot has punched a hole through the sail. When canvas is ripped, it's like hail drumming on a tile roof.
It's no good, they're not breaking formation.
You see what Drake did? He's forced them off towards Calais.
Now the wind is dropping.
I'll get the crew to sprinkle sawdust, soak up the blood.
My ears are ringing from the sound of the battle. My lungs are full of smoke. Oh, thank the Almighty for the beer ration.
The Dutch are helping.
Helping? How?
It's Justin of Nassau. He has a fleet of about 30 ships. He's managed to blockade the harbour so that the Spanish can't get their troops out to meet the fleet.
Sirs, a message from the Lord Admiral. He wants all the captains to gather.
You take command.
Mira esos barcos tan pequeños. Piensan que pueden romper nuestra formación. Están intentando provocarnos. Disparan sus armas. 5 descargas y luego escabulléndose.
Quieren que los sigamos. ¿Por qué querrían llevarnos hasta la isla de White? Es el precio que tenemos que pagar. Una vez tengamos un puesto defensivo y un refugio seguro, el duque de Parma podrá cruzar de manera segura.
Un poco de esas aguas. Comercie con Inglaterra. Donde están yendo las aguas un poco profundas. No hay problema para sus pequeños y débiles barcos, pero nuestros galeones podrían encallarse.
Piensan que nos pueden engañar con su astucia, pero nosotros tenemos un plan que Felipe ha detallado. Sabemos lo que tenemos que hacer. Sabemos lo que nos han ordenado hacer.
Atraco ahí.
Ha sido imprudente.
Por no victoria.
Tenemos que mantener la flota junta. La Santa María y la Doncella se han quedado atrás. Dos de los barcos ingleses se están posicionando para atacar.
Oyento. Está cambiando.
Deberíamos posicionarnos en Calais Road. Está a 20 millas de Dunkerque y allí podríamos juntarnos con el ejército. Además, los barcos ingleses tendrían que anclar en mar abierto y eso sería muy peligroso para ellos. Da la señal.
The captain's back.
What's going on?
Fire ships.
Fire? I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, the the Spanish are holding too close formation. We need to get in there and break them up, so we're sending in the fire ships.
Panic ensues. They break formation and make a run for it.
And we pick them off one by one.
Do we have any fire ships?
We did have some prepared, but they're in Dover.
Dover? What the...
Yeah, I know, it's bad planning. So what they're going to do is choose 8 from the fleet. Anything under 200 tons or anything too badly damaged.
So
the Angel is to be one of the 8.
Goddard's going to go ballistic.
I know, but if he knows that Drake and Hawkins have both sacrificed a ship each, you never know, he might even see it as a noble sacrifice.
You are joking, of course. So, do we have enough gunpowder to pack the ships?
No, but the Spanish don't know that. So what I want you to do is I want you to get all the crew off onto the other ships. I'll stay on board and start spreading the tar over the decks. And you, Goddard's man, you can stay with me and help me so that you've got something to report when we get back to land. You never know, I might even let you strike the match.
Everyone's a comedian. Goddard will have me flayed alive.
Look at the state of you.
Fighting for 5 days straight, without any sleep.
But the Spanish are gone.
Sailing up the coast, with the English fleet following them.
Yeah. Why weren't you with them?
About that.
Don't tell me my ship has been damaged. What? Is it worse? Sunk? Oh God, is it salvageable?
Rather unlikely.
For God's sake, man, spit it out, spit it out!
It was used as a fire ship.
What? How? Why? Who?
Admiral Drake suggested a move.
Flag off that knave! That greasy, butchering, contemptible knave! Cosy knave! Pokey knave! My ship!
Best leave him to calm down.
My husband wishes I hadn't prayed off the press gang. He said it'd been a sight to see the Spanish fleeing with the English in attack.
But they were still a danger. It was the weather in the end. It was that storm that did for them.
Well, I'm
the
sorry,
Queen's going to strike a medal.
They had to limp all the way around the coast of Scotland and Ireland just to get back. They lost more ships doing that than they did fighting. Good riddance to them. They deserve everything they've got.
And we didn't lose a single ship in the battle. Well saved for the fire ship.
Yeah, and I wish I had seen Mr. Goddard's face when he heard the news. He can afford. What heroes!
You're good out, good people.
The heroes of Southampton.
They're all heroes now. See that woman over there? Her fellow was a sailor who avoided being pressed into service, so he could continue his trade, taking goods across to La Rochelle. But, and here's the thing, en route he passed the Spanish fleet, and instead of running for cover, no, he hailed the ships and sold them all the produce he had on board. I kid you not. And perhaps something to report to Mr. Mill next time I see him. So Francis Drake, for her sweet sake, did set them all on fire.
Will you stop that caterwauling and go and answer the door?
Alderman Goddard, we have received a missive from Her Majesty.
Oh, God, what does she want from me now? I've nothing left to give.
No, it's good news. The Queen will pay compensation for the loss of your ship.
Give me that. Oh, I knew Her Majesty would not let me down. Sit. Wine. This calls for more wine. And bring some paper and pen.
Assume he's speaking to me.
We merely have to confirm the size of the ship. There is a sliding scale for payment.
Oh, as it should be, of course. So record the Angel as 120 tons.
120 tons? Are you sure, Alderman?
Do you think I don't know the size of my own ship?
No, of course. So that would be compensation of £450.
A good and worthy ship would be valued more highly, one would hope. But we beggars cannot be choosers.
Mr. Goddard was certainly no beggar. The Angel was an old ship, and in some documents was said to be but 80 tons.
Hey, you old Goddard. Hiding away. Joining in the celebrations.
I rejoice in our victory, but I weep for our loss of trade. We've been trading with Spain for generations now. How will we rebuild our finances? English ships will be not welcome.
Well, there's always privateering. Oh. And trade now comes from across the Atlantic. The New World. Oh. I've heard word of another opportunity. A golden opportunity.
And what is that?
The Counter Armada.
The what?
The Counter Armada. Well, look, they sent a fleet over here. We'll send one over there. Only we won't just be singeing the King of Spain's beard this time. We'll be burning down his palaces. And we can be at the forefront, providing ships. Think of all that gold and silver just waiting for us over there.
But to go to Spain, is it possible?
Oh, yes. There'll be a figurehead for the Portuguese.
Oh, the Portuguese.
Yeah, see, turns out they don't like being ruled by the Spanish any more than we would. So there's this Portuguese prince, Don Antonio, somebody. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. He says his people are ready to rise up and throw off the Spanish yoke. And whilst they're doing that, we
will be helping ourselves to the silver on the treasure fleet. Cheers!
Cheers! What can possibly go wrong?
What indeed? But that, my friends, is a story for another time. For now, let us bask in a great victory. Southampton is saved. England is saved. And Elizabeth is saved.